Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is ScopeSF and today we are finally getting back and looking at the current version, upgraded version of my Gruul Persist Modern deck. And this is pretty much I'm making this video now because everything has recently been a lot more fine-tuned. Marin MTG, very popular Twitch streamer, Magic the Gathering content creator, started recently doing donation decks, and I wanted to submit what my former most recent version of the deck was to try and get an actual professional player's kind of take on the deck, see what they say, see what changes or upgrades should really be made to it. And got a lot of incredible feedback. So first and foremost, thank you, Marin. If you ever happen to see this, I do really appreciate everything, how much you dissected the deck and broke it down in order to look at the big key elements to see what needs what and where goes where. So what we ultimately, at the end of it, the ultimate feedback was first and foremost, why are you running only 3 Kitchen Finks when it's your best card? The answer was that, between Safehold Elite and Lesser Mastercore costing 2 mana, it is a lot more mana efficient, and it's a little bit easier to sneak out some wins with just having 2 mana creatures, because you kind of figure if you're going to be drawing into a Persist creature, turn 3, turn 1, Mana Dork, turn 2, Rhythm of the Wild or Grumgully, or Malaria as needed, and then turn 3, if we hit land drops on all 3 turns, plus 1 of the Mana Dorks, we get to play out both a 2-mana Persist creature and 1 of the 2-mana Sacrifice outlets. You can't really do that if Kitchen Finks ends up being your primary Persist creature, but at the end of the day, watching through the stream and the VOD again, Kitchen Finks put in so much work. She was absolutely right about just running 4 copies of Kitchen Finks in the main. There's no reason to have the 4th one just in the sideboard to bolster your potential matchup when you could just bolster your potential main deck. So Kitchen Finks put in the sideboard. And then everything else was land dependent. I wanted to run for Boseiju because I really like the channel ability, since artifact and enchantment destruction is going to be the big thing that saves this deck, since most of the hate pieces, like your Leyline of the Void, your Leyline of Sanctities, your Rest in Pieces, everything like that, most things that shut down these types of combo decks are artifacts or enchantments. So I wanted to run 4 copies of essentially the channel ability, and they just kind of happen to be on the land. But the fact that this is a legendary land, and we saw it multiple times on her stream, you just kind of get, I think she called it legend ruling. I forget exactly how she described it, but basically it ends up being more of a dead draw as a land than it does as drawing into a artifact or enchantment destruction spell. So I still really like the Boseiju. She still really liked the Boseiju, so we just cut it down to 3 at her recommendation. Also, when I submitted the deck, I didn't have any of the Wooded Foothills. I specifically said I didn't have that because I'm on a budget specifically for paper. If I have a deck that I really like, I want to own it in both paper and online, and Wooded Foothills are like $40 to $50 a piece now. I don't have the money to drop on a full play set, so originally I kept the land base to be exactly what I had in paper, but if I'm really looking to improve the deck, ultimately I have to focus on the mana base, and Marin pointed that out perfectly, and I do agree. So at least in Moto, this will be the land base I'm building into, but in the meantime, what the changes mostly to the land base were cutting out 2 of the stomping grounds because she believes we don't need 2 fetches. Okay, I don't fully understand that part, but I'm not going to argue against it either. So cutting out 2 stomping grounds, cut out a Boseiju, So going down from 4 to 3, cutting a mountain and a forest, and then cutting the 4 car pollution forest, which will be like probably the best budget dual land that you could really play in Modern, at least for this type of deck. And what we're replacing those 9 slots with, 4 Wooded Foothills, 4 Copperline Gorges, and the last Kitchen Finks to kind of fill up those 9 spots. Everything else about the main deck is pretty much staying the same. Marin did mention a few times about the potential of changing the deck enough that we just run Blood Moon in the main 60, but she also said, looking over the entire deck as a whole, this deck is so fine-tuned enough that this deck doesn't need to be, the main 60 doesn't need to be changed in that way if we don't want it to be changed in that way. And if we do put Blood Moon in the main 60, we're going to be looking at, it's not just as easy as like taking out 4 collected companies and just putting in 4 Blood Moons and calling a day. The deck would have to be changed a little bit more than that to accommodate. And at the end of it, the consensus was if we didn't want to run a Blood Moon version, we didn't have to. But Blood Moon's still absolutely fantastic for putting in the sideboard, and can win against very specific matchups, so absolutely worth putting in the sideboard as a 4 of. Otherwise, get to keep my 4 copies of Prowling Serpapard, which I absolutely love. This was probably the biggest thing I said when I submitted the deck is, look, I'm open to suggestions for pretty much anything, except I am keeping the 4 Prowling Serpapard. I'd be hard-pressed to cut it down to even 3 because of the way it, not really combos, but the way it works with Rhythm of the Wild. Just having a total of 8 cards that I could put in the deck that just prevent my creature spells from being countered, which is very important in a creature-heavy deck. You know the drill. So, yeah, I'm glad that ultimately I was able... She didn't really touch on the Serpapards at all. We could just kind of keep the 4 in there. Her and the chat said they didn't really like Cinder Vines. I kind of put it in there not only as artifact and enchantment hate, but also as a way to counter Storm. But Storm really isn't in the meta right now. So I think Cinder Vines would be really good as a replace, like in the sideboard, at least 3 copies of it when Storm becomes prevalent. But right now, when it's not prevalent, the card Wilt. Destroy target artifact or enchantment at instant speed for 2 mana, or I could just cycle it if I really don't need it at a given moment. I think this is just a more efficient card to be running in the sideboard, so made that replacement real quick. And then otherwise, I did cut out the copy of Gaia's Blessing, which I put in there to go up against Mill. But during her stream, I was looking at the chat, and one person made the comment that if this deck is designed to be fast enough to beat Burn and potentially beat Tron, then it is absolutely going to be fast enough to beat Mill. And Gaia's Blessing just kind of feels like a dead card. Maybe if Mill was that much more prevalent in the meta, maybe you could justify 1 copy of Gaia's Blessing, but in the buy and buy, you're probably not going to need it. So we just removed that entirely. And between removing the Gaia's Blessing and then putting the other Kitchen Finks that was in the sideboard in the main board, we have 2 more sideboard slots to work with. We just bumped it up to the 4 full copies of Leyline of Sanctity instead of 2. And again, Marin talked about that, how if we're really going to be running Leyline of Sanctity in the side, you have to go all in. Like, if you really, really want this card in your sideboard to fight against discard, fight against burn or targeting or anything else like that, then you have to run the full 4 and just aggressively mulligan until you get at least 1 copy in your opening, because even though in Super Happy Fairy Tale Magic Fun Time Christmas Land, you could cast Leyline of Sanctity if you had both Birds of Paradise out, it's realistically never going to happen. So don't even bother trying to be hopeful about it. Just put the full 4 in, aggressively mulligan until you get it, and then Leyline of Sanctity, kind of like Blood Moon, has a full potential to just win you a game on the spot if you're up against that type of deck. So those were the main changes that were made. Now let's see if we can get into some games with this. I don't know what any of this is. We'll do a practice. I'm not going to play my elf deck. Playing this. Alright, well. I'll just have to host my own game and see how that goes. Alright, sweet. Alright, what do we got? Guess I'll gladly go first. Oh, this is something. I'm gonna mulligan this. I'll keep this. Select the card up on the bottom. Actually, I could put... Good ditch a Stomping Ground. Get Basic Forest. Play this. And just kind of yield until end of turn. Let's see what the opponent's on. Okay. I'm gonna guess one of the Triomes. Nope. That's fine. Oh, is this Zoo? Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen Zoo in a hot minute. I appreciate that. How do I want to do this? I think what I'm going to do is just play this, not pay the life for it, then cast Malera. Yield until my turn. Yep, that's fair. Ooh. So landfall I like it. It's spicy, but not like cheap Taco Bell spicy. It's like a cayenne pepper spicy. Yeah, I'm just gonna play this in case I do need the down the road. Swing on the Lyra because it's free damage. Go down here. I'm just looking at this because I forget if channel is must be at sorcery or not, and it isn't. So that's interesting. Okay, I misplayed that because of the yield until here. I should just... Yeah, I should have held up for the blockers. Oh, I can still do that. A bit of a whiff, but... Yeah, I should have bolted the Malira. Wait. Okay, I just can't declare blockers. Yeah, that was just a misplay on my part. If I was in Paper Magic, I would absolutely describe what was going on. Um, I want to keep these, so... Yeah, there's no reason to play a land. Actually, there is... Yeah, no, I'm playing the green, so that way if I need to channel, I can, because Malira is a legendary. Might as well bring him down 6. So at this point, I just need any sacrifice outlet. That is mostly what I'm looking for. Okay, this is interesting. Now it does not matter which creature I attack with. I think I just attack on the Lyra because... Always yield. Because Lester Mastigore is just a better blocker. Get him out. I think we'll do it like that. Do they have another Path to Exile? Defense, what? Okay. That makes absolutely no difference to me. Yep, he knows. Oh boy. So I think what I do here, I just attack with both. Okay. Okay. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. And leave up another Malera, which I will give a +1/+1. Okay. I mean, it'll bring me down to 3, I guess, but... I gotta block this one. Alright, got the lightning bolt. I got this. Save targets. Sack a creature. +1/+1. Yeah, there we go. Wait, it's supposed to be a best of 3. What? Bruh. Well, that happened. Alright, let's do one more. That was a very slow play. And we didn't even get to see any of the cool cards, too. Like, we didn't even get to see the power of Copperline Gorge. I did not see any of the Kitchen Finks. This might be worth it. Alright, basic land. Since I have 2 basic forests in my hand, I am going to get the mountain. Ooh, Copperline Gorge. Alright. I got nothing else, so I'll just wait until my turn. Okay. Pretty good curve out so far. I always want that. Combat. Attack with safe hold. Alright, show me Scary Teferi. What? Based. Let's go. Is this Azoria's Angels? I'm in the right queue, right? Like this is tournament practice? Ooh. I think, alright. Yeah, I'm going to do it to him. I'm going to play Collected Company, try and get either Grumgully or Malera, and then just mill them out. It's mean, but that's what this deck is designed to do. Like, Geist of Saint Traft. That is a throwback. Let's go. Is this Azorius Clerics? Yeah, go for it. Alright, then it's main phase. Yep, there's a Grumgully, there's a Kitchen Finks. Double Alter Dementia. See if he recognizes what's going on. Bro, is he also playing combo deck? I think he is. Alright, surprise me with the number cool. Do it. I didn't actually see any counter spells in that deck. And I know I can win with Alter. Do I have to worry about the Leyline of Sanctity, though, is the question. Not mine. Theirs, if they have one. I think what I do, I bring in the Blood Moons. I'll cut Accompany, a Rhythm, 2 Burbs. I think I just do it like that. Alright, this is an immediate keep. Because if they have the ley line, I just besage you. Or I do that. And by that I mean absolutely nothing. Well, do I just play one more? Let me see if I can join this game. Alright, that's fine. Alright, what do we got? This is the bee's knees McGee's. If one of these sack outlets was Mana Dork, this would be a turn 3 win, but now granted I also don't know what the opponent's doing. Burn. Based. Let's go. What? Bruh. Well, this is a leyline matchup. Alright. Hit me with your best shot. Bring on the meats. Okay, I gotta collect the company. Whatever. I'm gonna need a land. Yes, perfect. I am 100% okay with that. Yep, it's cool by me. Gladly take the life. Get a forest. Alright. There's no way you have an answer to this. Not even close. So. Can you beat me this turn? I don't actually think there's a way they can. Sure. Okay. Alright, they have to draw into, like, 2 burn spells. Okay. Alright. Can you deal 2? Alright, that's fine. Sanctity. I guess both birds. 1 goblin bombardment and 1 altar. Do I risk it? I think I just had to aggressively mulligan, and I will keep this. I got nothing, so they can go for it. Cool. I take. Now, creature here would be great. Okay, not exactly what I was looking for, but... yeah, just my turn. You'll do deal here. Okay. This is another one. Yep. There. Alright, let's see if they just double bolt the kitchen finks. Mm-hmm. Actually, if they know this deck, they might just single bolt it. Okay, well, if you're gonna do that, I'll just... Okay. Ooh, that's rough. Okay. I think I keep back Malera, because it just gives him a target for his burn spells. Alright, give me a land. Okay. Honestly, I'm not disappointed by that. It's safe to play this because Malera and Grumgully do the exact same thing in this deck, so I just have 2 copies of the same card. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Bruh. Yield to your own prowess triggers. That should also yield to his prowess triggers. Eh. Technically a land. Let's see if he has any other lightning bolts. He's probably just gonna bait this out. No? Okay. Oh, he just doesn't have it. Alright. Well then. No reason not to. Alright, so we got this part of the combo out. We just need a sacrifice outlet. Okay, you could draw a card. That's actually probably really good for him, though. Because, like, a land is going to do absolutely nothing if he hasn't even cracked this fetch yet. Yep, just knows. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not in any danger. I would do like that. Okay, yeah, just outvalue him. Oh, wait. Did you just quit? I am so confused by this game. I don't know if I got... I could have sworn that was just game 2. You know what? Anyway, doesn't matter. I think we went, what, 3 for 3 for that? How do I check? Game history. Yep. 1-0, 2-0, 1-1. So yeah, all in all, a pretty good turnout. I'm really happy with this deck, and once I start getting a little bit of extra spending money that I don't have to, spending money as in not bills, I'm gonna upgrade the lane base. I think that so far, this is probably the best that this deck is going to be. Granted, I didn't. I don't know. I guess I didn't really like do anything. Like I just played 3 games, and that's absolutely not a good basis for any statistics whatsoever. But at the end of all 3 of them won. Leyline Sanctity did show off its true power when you can actually aggressively mulligan into a first hand. That definitely helped with Burn. And ironically, Marin went against Burn the first 2 matches of her portion of playing this deck. And I think that's what, really... I think there's a lot of truth into her statement about running 4 ley lines, but I think that's why she hammered it into the ground, saying, we went up against Burn. I think she lost the first one, but won the second one, or something like that. And she definitely put a lot of emphasis on Leyline Sanctity, basically saying this would have been a much different turnout if we could just aggressively mulligan into Leyline Sanctity, and I agree with that. So kind of glad that we got to show off Leyline Sanctity's power. Glad that Copperline Gorge came in a little bit clutch when it was just the... when it was within like our first 3 or so lands. And I guess there's a valid point that like for a deck like this where everything is like really low mana cost, and by the time we get to Copperline Gorge when there are more than 3 lands on the battlefield, even if we draw it and we have to play and it enters tapped, that's only going to make like a marginal difference, because by the time we get to that point, drawing any type of land, whether it's a fetch or a basic or whatever, except for Besaja with his channel ability. But by the time we get to that point, that's probably... any land that we draw is probably going to be a dead draw anyway. So, Copperline Gorge, absolutely worth it. I am absolutely buying a playset of those. And then the Wooded Foothills, and I think that's all I really need. I know I have all these. I can pull these out from another deck that I don't really play anymore. And then I have everything else. So yeah, it's just fixing the mana base. As far as paper, when I build this deck in paper, which I am absolutely going to do. This is probably going to be my namesake deck. Like... I don't know how to best describe it. I think the best way to describe it is like if any of you ever watch like old game nights and you're watching the Command Zone and everything like that, there's a guy named Craig Blanchett who has affectionately earned the title of Mr. Infect. I think I kind of want to be Mr. Persist. And I know that sounds cheesy, but that's pretty much the way I want to sum it up. It's like I love the persist combo. I will play it in modern. I play it in commander. Um, I have the Anafenza, the foremost deck, which is pretty much just persist combo in a different shell. I even have it in Pauper. I have my own take on. I mean, I've shown this off on the channel, but I have my own take on the Rakdos first day of class Putrid Goblin combo with how I added Carrion Feeder and Wedding Invitation because people aren't running those for some reason, which I don't get. But honestly, yeah, I love Persist combo, and that's another topic for another day. But if I'm really going for it as much as I am, I want this deck to be the best that it can be. And once again, huge thank you so much to Marin for helping me achieve that by actually providing shedding a little bit of light with some experience of somebody who's actually been playing this game more often than I have and a lot longer than I have, willing to provide constructive criticism. Like, not once did she bash the deck. Like, she never called me an idiot for not running 4 Kitchen Finks in the main. She constantly asked why, but granted, that was justified. Well, we already talked about that, but yeah, no, I really appreciate how much constructive criticism and proper feedback she was able to give me to help me kind of reach that goal and to really bring out the fullest potential of this deck. And the results so far are showing it. I'll be playing this a lot more. I'll be fine-tuning it a lot more. I'll still be playing around with the sideboard. I don't know if the sideboard is perfect yet, even outside of the obligatory obvious comment of, oh, your sideboard will be perfect if you just ditch the Prowling Serpapard strategy. But I mean, I just really like it, so I'm just going to keep it. And I think I have enough answers to everything else in the sideboard that Prowling Serpapard does actually stand on its own, and I could see instances against control where it'll be good because there's a special place in Hades for blue players. Nah, I kid. If blue didn't exist, then red wouldn't be good. Yeah, but anyway, thank you all for watching. If you watched until the very end, I thought this was a really great success. I'm really happy with the results, and I am very, very much looking forward to where this deck will take me. But until then, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.